General reading for Stephanie. Okay, I know we were just talking about this a little bit, but I just was immediately getting thrown into something about a home or a house. This feels more like it's actual living situation versus metaphor. Um, who is in the house, who is coming and going, different boundaries in respect of space, thoughts on moving, thoughts on renovating, thoughts on redesigning. Let me know how that lands before I actually go into this more. I just feel like I'm waiting on repairs. It's been over a year. Also dealing with family member and their living situation options to move together. I need more space. Okay, 100%. All right, nail on the head. Happy to hear it. Yeah, what I was just gonna say is, it feels like it's so heavy on the boundaries. It's like really so you feeling like you need more space. People are kind of on top of each other or could be on top of each other. Then how do you sort some of that out? So let me look into recommendations for that. I want to move but cannot, feeling stuck and waiting it out. Okay. So let's look into like what you can do for the now. And I feel like that will help guide us to this card. Okay, I'm just immediately seeing like locking the door, finding really small ways within the situation that you're navigating to just reinforce. It's like house rules. What are the house rules? Are those up somewhere? Are those clear? Do those need to be revisited? What's going on with the chores? Who's doing what? Like add in these little pieces of framework and structure so that no one's stepping on anybody's toes, or it gives you something to go back to of like, hey, we agreed on these. Or I'm setting it like I'm in charge. This is what the house rules are, period. Shoes off at the door. Everyone does their own laundry, whatever it is. And going back to the door, it feels like you walk into a room and you shut the door and you're locking it and it's just you in there by yourself. It's like you needing to have time where you can get away. And sometimes it's you having your sacred space, your corner, your nook, separate room that you can just go to and escape to within the house. And then, of course, as needed, just going somewhere else and getting out entirely. But it feels like it's for your sanity. That's how it's coming through. For you to have a clear head and not have like emotional responses be triggered where you regret saying or doing something or getting lost in the plot a bit. That's where the boundaries are so important. Of how can you just take a quick breather, just step away, be in silence, be away from everybody else, really think about what you want, what's working for you, what's not working for you, where those boundaries being crossed, how to reestablish those. Make sure that you're sticking to the house rules that you set. And then that everyone else is doing the same, but not in a micromanaging way, because it's just expending too much of your energy. It's like you can only focus and control what's yours, but you can reaffirm boundaries. You can reaffirm boundaries for others. And if they don't adhere, that's where there's a consequence. Because it's a way of you honoring and respecting yourself. So when you allow your boundaries to be defied over and over again, a way to think about it is you are allowing yourself to be disrespected, but you're also disrespecting yourself by doing that. So when you set a boundary, you state the boundary, it's clear, and you reinforce the boundary, you are showing yourself love and respect. That's a way to reframe it. The card is interconnected. Wow, this is actually really, there's a way to interpret this that is funny to me with what we are talking about. Interconnected. With a steady mind, I am connected to our collective experience. I laugh because I read collective experience. I've never interpreted this card this way before. Collective experience, but it's just like because we're talking about you and living situation and like a bunch of people together. um, and the fact that I was talking about your mind, which is what I was discussing before. It's like, how can you step away? How can you recalibrate your mind? Think about what is most important. And it feels like the emphasis here is actually what's most important is how you are being treated, how you're setting boundaries with your connections with others. And so they're not just trampling on them. And when you have that steady mind, when you have that clear mind, you're not being overtaken by anything, resentments, pet peeves, emotionally charged circumstances. When you're able to have that release valve, when you're able to step away, reset, clear your mind, you come at these collective shared experiences from more of a calm, measured perspective, which is what you want. You want it to be peaceful. You want things to go well. You want people to be happy, feel respected, have privacy, etc. So normally when I see this card, it's talking about like tapping into the collective. So she has a chakra up on her third eye. So it's intuitively connecting to things. And this isn't to say that you won't have intuitive experiences, but it feels like this is this is somehow actually showing the opposite. It's like, how can I make myself clear and recalibrate my connection with the collective, as in the people around me that are encircling me? All right, let me know if you have any other thoughts on this. And best of luck with the renovations. Process is always longer than we think it is. The last 2 months have been difficult and chaotic. The only place I have is my headspace. Lately, the only alone time I can find is when I close my eyes. Oof. Yes. And sometimes that's it. You could just visualize what I was talking about of you're closing the door and locking it. You could even do that within your practice. Lately, I envision myself on a beach enjoying myself. I need to set rules and boundaries with my sibling. Yeah. There's a lot in this reading. Thank you so much. So many thoughts to sit with. You are very welcome. Yeah, sometimes even in a short reading, they can be super packed. I did a reading yesterday. I did a reading yesterday for one of my Insight Timer students. It was a 60-minute reading, which was so great and so fun. Like I love being able to meet people from these classes and actually see people face to face. So it was a 60-minute reading, and it was like there were so many action items. There's so many things to do, so many recommended healing practices, and it got to a certain point, and I was like, I am so sorry. This is a lot. There's a ton of information that is coming through. So that's where it's nice if you can take notes. And obviously this was recorded, so this won't be up today, but Stephanie will be up at some point within the next month. So you'll be able to go back, listen as you've been doing some of this work, kind of check in on it. And it's helpful because sometimes we don't always hear things the first time. So that's why whenever I do readings for people, I always have them recorded, because something might not land the first time that you hear it. But once you can process it, go live your life, do some things, come back to it, sometimes it makes a lot more sense. Sandy, health reading. I'm immediately getting something like chest, like lungs, like coughing. I don't know if that is literally the case or if this is supposed to be a metaphor for something. Definitely let me know, but I will look further. If you have specific concerns, I will also preface this by saying I am not a doctor. So any health and wellness practices is just intuitive advice. It is suggested, but it is always up to you in consulting whichever practitioners you choose to work with. I get symptoms near my chest. Okay, cool. Healing from Graves' disease. I have heard of Graves' disease, but for me and for everyone, if you don't mind, could you give a quick definition while I am looking into this more? All right, so I was seeing the activation here. I'm seeing you putting on a bunch of different hats. It feels like trying out a few different things. Autoimmune, gotcha. You're trying out a bunch of different things. I don't know if this has to do with hyperthyroidism. Okay, yeah. What was I just saying? I don't know if the trying on different hats is symbolizing trying different treatments, like different holistic avenues versus Western medicine, etc. I'm also getting something about like exercise. Do you have a physical wellness routine that is here, that is supporting this? Trying a lot of things to heal, Western medicine, herbs, yoga. Okay. Yeah, I just being brought specifically to the physical practice. I wonder if I'm gonna get yoga suggestions. Ooh, that's fun. Okay. Are you familiar with Ujjayi breathing? Meditation also. So there's a lot of different breathwork practices that can be incorporated into yoga. So there's like the lion's breath. Heard about it. So there's some where like you kind of do like it's like controlled breathing where you're holding this nostril and it comes in and out and etc. But for the Ujjayi breathing, it's like kind of you're holding it back and you're kind of breathing in this control way. And then there's the lion's breath, and I'm pretty sure that they are two different things, and I'm not mixing them up. And the lion's breath is more of like you gotta go like that. Like you're doing, it's like a very throaty, like exhale and like release of energy. But it feels like doing practices like that and actually pairing it with visualization. So if you're doing any sort of energy work, I don't know if this is folded in at all, but energy work, and that when you are doing these exhales, whether it's Ujjayi breathing, whether it is lion's breath or any other breath practices that you are already doing, that you're imagining, you're visualizing areas of your body where it is necessary to have the light energy, have the healing energy going in, and that when you are exhaling, you are expelling that. This seems like this is, it's just like it's like an add-on. It's like a little bit of a boost and supplement. And if you are trying all these different modalities, it seems like revisiting how it's coming in is like what's in excess. So either is it actually helping to do all of them, or are you not sure what is helping or not because you're doing so many things at once? And so a suggestion is maybe linking some of them together. So like doing the energy work while with breath work at the same time as you're in a yoga pose, as an example. So turning some of the practices on their head, putting some different ones together rather than having it be sequential, if you have some sort of a ritual routine, so that you can better identify, or maybe taking certain things away for a little bit and seeing where your energy goes and how you're feeling. Because if you have all of these eggs, it feels like it's a little bit hard to determine like what 100% is working. It's true, I don't know which one is working best. I have a routine. Yeah, so shaking up that routine, swapping a couple things out, adding some new things in, but like logging it and saying, okay, so for this week, I'm going to try this one change in my routine and seeing how that goes and seeing how you feel and giving yourself enough time to adjust to it and doing some of that experimentation over time. And it seems like you land on being able to get rid of some of these practices because it's not really doing anything either right now. Maybe it was helping before, but it's not really doing anything right now. Or it's just kind of taking up a lot of your time. So if you take that one piece out, you could spend longer on something else that is working or that just allows you to have fun. I don't know where you have play in here, but it feels like play is important too. Like creative outlets, listen to music, dancing around, even if you're doing it while cleaning. Like having something that feels playful and light and considering that as part of your healing practice and routine. So maybe it's talking to people if that's something that's fun for you. Maybe it's a creative activity that's fun for you, nostalgic, etc. I danced too for a few minutes. Okay, great. So whatever that is, it feels like the play portion is add a little bit more time to that. A little more time. Taking away some of the rigidity of the routine, being willing to make a change, but be intentional. Be intentional about it and be tracking the things that you're changing so that you can actually learn what is working right now for you. And being open to have some different ideas and practices come in. It's an experiment. It's like what Hannah was saying earlier. It's like you don't have to rush the healing process. So you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna try some different things, see how this goes. And our card is the prayer card. I will preface lots of interpretations of this card. I surrender to the power of prayer and devotion. Take this card in a couple ways. One, if you have any sort of a actual prayer practice, recommendation to tap into some of that as well. So this could be on more of the religion side. It can also be on the spiritual side. So another version of the ancestors card, it could be connecting to a spirit team, connecting to higher power, higher self. And also another interpretation that is very common with this card is focusing on this idea of surrender. Where can you let go? As an example, what practices do you have in your routine can you let go of that they're not actually serving you? And then on a more deep level, general surrender. It could be in needing help, in needing support, in thoughts and ideas that you have around your health in general and this condition and the impacts on your life. When you are in a state of surrender, you are fully, it's like you're blowing the doors open, fully opening up your energy, and you're connecting to a different vibration. And you're calling people in, you're calling insights in, ideas in, opportunities in. So it also ties to just energy work in general. How can you connect to a different vibration? So lots of avenues depending on your interests, depending on your background, depending on your belief system. I surrender to the power of prayer and devotion. Tanya, I like the idea of playfulness, creativity, Hannah, keeping a journal might help to track what is or isn't working. Yeah, exactly. Could be an existing journal, a notebook somewhere, could be a little notes app on your phone. Just jotting a couple things down. You can also put it in your calendar. So maybe you have a little calendar event and you're starting a new week. Maybe you start a week today on Monday. You're saying, okay, I'm going to try this new thing. You could have an alert every single day. In it, you could write down how it went. So many different options, analog or digital. Sandy, I definitely need to add more fun and play. I dedicate some time to connect with my guides and other light beings. Good. Surrender was a guiding word for me last year. What a difference it made. Thanks, Anya, for coming. Um, yeah, lots of really deep, hearty things in these readings today. And also a pattern for sure around how we are connecting to our space, how we're connecting to other people, where we're putting our energy. That feels like it's the through line with these individual readings, and even going a little bit back to the collective ones as well. Finding out which practices are no longer helping will really give me more time to focus on what is working. Absolutely. And surrendering is challenging at times. I needed to hear that. Good. All right. You are very welcome.